opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
The following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Hello. Finally got through that intro. But welcome, everyone. Happy Halloween. I want to say
hi, everybody.
Thank you to everyone on my panel tonight. And I hope we can have a lot of fun and just be ourselves, grown-ups that like Halloween. But I want to welcome Bear to the show. Hello, Bear. I want to welcome Jazzy. Hi, Jazzy.
Hi there.
I want to welcome
everyone.
the Mummy Princess.
Hello.
And I want to welcome Mr. Bag of Garbage. Yay!
Hello.
I'm still waiting for one more person. If they show up, I will add them. Oh, there he is. Here he is. Hey, Cuddle.
Oh, no. All right. I got to go then. See y'all later. Bye.
Well, thank you for hanging out with us on Halloween. It's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I found some really weird and creepy videos that we could also throw in here and there and talk about different things. But I'd like to start off by asking each of us if you have ever really had anything happen to you. It didn't have to be on Halloween, but if you've had any kind of creepy or eerie thing that's happened to you in your life that you would like to talk about tonight, I would love for you to share it with us. You know, as long as it's not like an hour long, thing. But I think that's interesting. And then we'll say hi to everybody in the chat. But before we get going, I want to say hi to everyone. I'm going to say, oh, hi, Jackie. And she's one of my wrenches. Thank you for coming in. I really appreciate you. And Snorter Poopus. Hi, Snorter Poopus.
Hi, Janet.
Baby Girl. And let's see who else. If anyone in here. Bears said hi. Hello, Bear. Oh, Jerry. Hi,
Hello.
Jerry. I guess he's someone else's from somewhere else. Is he one of yours, Bear?
Yeah, Jerry's on my channel. I've got, I don't know, 9 people watching over there.
Oh, great. That's good. Well, and then hi, Jerry. I got another friend of mine. He's from X. Thank you for joining us tonight. But, tonight I was wanting to, the first person I was going to bring up was my friend Jazzy. She's never done anything like this before. Mm-hmm. And I was talking about my Halloween show. I would like to have some really interesting real stories from people. And I have some other little tidbits of information I found online. But I would like to introduce Jazzy and let her introduce herself and tell us a little bit about what she's wanting to share with us this evening. So hello, Jazzy.
Hi there. I hope everybody's having a fun Halloween. And I think it's a great idea to have on your show and tell the scary stories. And actually, I have a couple of stories that I could share. But the first one I think I'd like to talk about is something that actually happened to me. The other story is something that was eventually made into a movie. Mm-hmm. But the story that happened to me happened when I was like around 14 years old. And I was living in Corpus Christi, Texas. And I was only 14 years old. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So actually it was on a weekend, and I was just a little girl. I was only 14, but I was still just a little girl. And I'm dressed in shorts and sandals, and I'm going to my girlfriend's house, who lived out a few blocks away from me. And she was my best friend. I was going to spend the weekend with her. So I'm walking along, and I'm on this street that the streets run perpendicular to the street. So in other words, it's not like their houses are facing the street that I was walking on. We should have a sidewalk. But I'm walking on the sidewalk, and I'm walking past this elementary school, and it had, like the elementary backyard, and then there was I don't know, it was like a field of sugarcane trees or something, and then behind that there was like an empty field, and so I'm walking by the empty field, and so a car comes up next to me, and I was, this was a long, 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 long time ago. And, I mean, I was not afraid of anything. I mean, nothing scared me. I'd never met a stranger really in my whole entire life. And, so this car comes up and there's this guy in it and he stops and he says, "Hey, can you help me?" And so I'm, naturally thinking he's looking for directions, etc., whatever. He leans over and he was a Hispanic male. At the time, we didn't call them Hispanics, we called them Mexicans. I lived in Corpus
Mhm.
Christi, Texas. And, but I mean, I had no reason to be afraid of him. I wasn't afraid of anything. So I go over to the window and, because he's like leaning across, and he goes, "Can you tell me how to get to the bay?" And I said, "Well, I could tell you how to get to Ocean Drive, which is right by the bay." And he's like, "Yeah," because that's what I'm looking for. And I go, "Well, you just go down, down this way and that way, and it's only like a few blocks, and if you just go straight down the street, you'll actually run right into it." And so he goes, "Okay, thank you." And then about that time, I saw that he was opening the door to his car. And I'm like,
Mhm.
"What's he doing?" And so he opened the door and he started coming around. I began running because I knew then this person was bad and that he was out to do harm to me. And I was like really scared. And fortunately, I could run really fast. I was like a little girl, but I could run fast. But he was like, in the way. I mean, there was a sidewalk and there were just no cars really that day. I mean, there were no cars. It was on the weekend. I don't know why there weren't any cars there, but I just like, so I go running into this field and he's like chasing me and he's yelling to me to stop. And I just keep running as fast as I can. And he's like this big, stocky man. And he's like, I was so scared. And but all I could do is like run. And I fell down. I fell down and he like, came and he's like jumped on top of me. I mean, not like right on top of me, but like on my legs. And I'm like kicking and screaming. And so I got away because he's like holding on to one of my legs, but my shoe came off. And I was able to get up and run away. And then I saw this boy that was there in the field. And I'm yelling and screaming to him. And he looked at me and I'm like thinking he's going to help me. And then he turns around and he runs because he's scared. And so a friend of mine lived across from the field, and I mean, back in those days, nobody locked their doors. I mean, we just didn't lock our doors, okay? And so I'm running to my friend Marsha's house, not that to the Debbie's house, where I was going to spend the night, but I'm running to my friend Marsha's house because she was closer. So I run into Marsha's house. I get to Marsha's house, and I get inside the house, and Marsha's not. Nobody's home except her father. I mean, her grandfather, and he's like an invalid and he's sitting in this chair in the living room and I'm like, "Where's everybody?" And he's like, "I'm scared to death." And I'm like, "There's a man chasing me. He's like chasing me, trying to get me." And he's just like didn't say anything. I mean, I was like, I didn't even know what to do. So I go running out the back door and I run down the alley. And so finally, am I making this too long?
No, it's okay. But did the guy stop chasing you?
No, no. So, well, I didn't know where he was. Okay.
Mhm.
At that point, I had no idea where he was. Okay, so I um I go running down the alley, and so I was like almost lost because I was like just in it. It was I was I'd gotten disoriented, and I was terrified. I was just afraid he was going to come get me. I mean, I didn't know where he was, and so I go running down this alley, but I get to my friend's house, and so I go in to my friend's house, and I don't see him anywhere. And
Mhm.
so I go in the front door, and so Debbie's there, and her mother's there, and so I'm like, I was started crying. I'm like, this guy's chasing me. He's trying to kill me. He's like, and I didn't. I mean, I didn't think of anything other than he was going to kill me. Okay, and I mean, that's all I could think of. And so anyway, so she's like, "Well, what is the car like?" And so and I go, "Well, he was coming down this way, that way." And so about that time, we're looking out the front door. He comes up driving up around, and he had seen me. He'd seen me go into the house. And so he's like in front of the house. And so he starts driving around the block. And so Debbie's mom, Ruby, who was like a second mom to me, she said, "We've got to call the police." I go, call my mom, call my mom. And my stepdad, by the way, he was city manager at the time. And so Debbie called my mom. And so the guy kept circling the block. I mean, I don't know why he's like crazy, but he kept circling the block. And I was scared. I was like, I don't want to stay here. I was just going to leave, because I was afraid he was going to get in the house. I was just so terrified. And so anyhow, what happened is that after Debbie called my mom, and like it wasn't like she said that your mom said to stay here. They locked the door, and so then a policeman came by, and a police car, and then it wasn't but like 30 minutes later when they came with another police car, and they came up to the door, and they said they wanted me to come outside and identify this guy. And so I was just too scared. I was like, I don't want to. I don't want to. They're like, we really need you to identify him and make sure. And he was in the back of the squad car, and he had on an orange and black plaid shirt. I'll never forget that, and I will never forget what he looked like. He looked at me like he was going to kill me if I told the truth. And he said, "Is this the man?" And I said, "Yes." And so then after that, they drove off. And so then I was going to have to go testify against him. And so the prosecutor talked to me. This was the next week. And he's saying that you said all these things, that you were like wearing these really short shorts, and you were saying these things to him, that telling him to come on, and I'm like, I didn't do any of that stuff, and I was like so scared. I was like, because I said, I don't want to testify. And they go, you need to testify. But anyway, something happened. He had just gotten out of prison for rape. And anyway, bottom line is, sorry, I hope this story didn't bore anyone. Okay, so, but the end of the story really is that I don't know why, but I did not have to testify, and he was sent back to prison or whatever. And I don't know what happened to him after that, but that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
How old were you when that happened to you?
I was like 14 years old. I was only 14.
Well, I can tell by the way you were speaking that it was very traumatic for you at 14, and the guy didn't even get you. So I'm happy that you were able to get away, and that you just kept running, and that you were able to have him get arrested again. Because if it hadn't been you, it would have been some other girl.
Well, you're right. And not only that, but I honestly believe that he would have killed me. I truly believe
probably
that
would have. But I'm glad.
And the thing is, I didn't know where to run. I mean, you don't know when something like that happens. I mean, it's so frightening. And I mean, if my story could help anyone, I would say, don't run into an empty field, okay? Whatever you do, I mean, run into the middle of the street or something and flag down a car, I didn't know what to do because I'd never been faced or confronted or even, had anyone talk to me about anything like that happening to me. I mean, when I was little, my parents used to worry that I was going to be kidnapped. And
the thing is that kind of stuff happens almost every day now.
It does now, but it didn't back then. This was a long
I know.
time ago.
It probably did happen a lot more than we knew, but it wasn't advertised any. You know what I mean? It wasn't every day on TV that people talked about it. But thank you for sharing that with us, because it's not very often that we get to hear actual person talk about something like that happening to them, and I can definitely tell how.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Janet, I had to go to counseling. I mean, it was so traumatic to me, that I was like, I mean.
Well, I'm glad that you had
he was
parents
holding my
leg.
He was like on top of my feet, on top of my legs. I mean, he was like, I thank God I was able to get away from him. I think it's amazing I'm still here today.
Well, I
So,
do too. I'm happy that you were able to get away and get help.
yeah,
But
okay.
I appreciate you
Thanks for
sharing
listening to
that.
my story. Okay.
But thank you. You're welcome. And wanted to ask if there was anybody else that had something that's happened to them that you'd want to talk about or not.
I actually saw UFOs when I was walking with my mother.
Awesome. I had a UFO experience myself. So how old were you when this happened to you?
This happened about last year, so I was 25 or 26.
Okay.
And I'm walking to synagogue with my mother at night, and we look up and we see these strange, like a fuchsia color, like a pale fuchsia light beams, and there are four like strange type flying things, flying in bee-like, insect-like patterns, circling in circles and then crisscrossing, and they're shining their beams crisscrossing. And my mother thought maybe it's search helicopters, but the pattern and that there were four of them was so odd, we couldn't think of anything other than it must be UFOs. And also, I saw this same bright fuchsia light up the backyard. Now, there's only a yellow colored security light, kind of, white light, nothing reddish, pink color.
Mm-hmm.
And it lit up the entire backyard. And I heard footsteps, like long and heavy, kind of robotic footsteps walking through the thicket. We have a bunch of bamboo right behind the house. I thought, oh my God, they're aliens. And I was honestly, seriously afraid of being abducted.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought, well, maybe this is TMI, but I was fresh out of the bath. So if they wanted to abduct me, it'd be like the perfect time to eat me or whatever. Yeah. And I was really scared.
Well, I was scared when I had my own encounter, but I had two different kinds of encounters in my life. One was I think I saw an alien, but I was like 9, and the other one I was an adult, but I was visiting my sister Kathy, and she lived in Arkansas at the time, and my grandmother was very sick, and my mother was at the hospital with my grandmother, and it was like almost 3-hour drive from my sister's house to my mother's. And my mother called and said that Grandma wasn't doing very well, that we needed to try to come and to see her before she passed away. So I got in the car with my sister Kathy and her husband, and we started driving. And it's mostly all rural 2-lane roads in Arkansas going towards my parents' house. It's in between DeQueen, Arkansas, and Mena, Arkansas. I don't know if anyone knows where that is on Highway 71. So it's very rural. And we were driving along, and it was dark at night. And it was about, I hope I don't get emotional, but it was about 9:10 at night. And I remember Jerry saying, there's someone in the road up ahead, because our headlights were could go down there, and we all looked, and I was in the back seat, and I leaned toward the middle so I could see, and my sister goes, oh my God, slow down. And I remember him slowing down, and there was a woman, and she had a scarf over her head, and she was tied around the neck, and she had a skirt on that went just below her knees, almost like she was dressed like a Jehovah's Witness. Okay. And then when we got close to her, she moved towards the side of the road, and we turned to look. And then Kathy and I just looked at each other, and we go, oh my God, that looks just like Grandma. Okay. And then Jerry said, what would she be doing out here like that? And I go, that she must have died. That's what I said. I said, I think she died. So we were like 20 minutes out at this time. So when we got there, we went running in, and my mom was crying. Everybody else was crying. And we found out my grandmother had passed away. So Jerry said, what time did she pass? And the doctor said at like 9:12 p.m. So basically it was like and then we started bawling. My sister and I started crying because we felt like my grandmother made sure that we got to see her before she passed away. But that was very emotional for me, and I still get upset or, nervous or whatever, and my palms sweat when I talk about it. But to me, I really do believe we saw her spirit. So
Wow.
it didn't bother anybody. But yeah, I really do believe that, it sometimes, if we're open to it, that we can see the, people that have passed on. I do believe that. But if anybody doesn't have anything else they want to talk about real quick, I have a video I'd like to share, which I thought was very interesting the first time I saw it. And do you guys care if I share it?
Go ahead.
Yeah, we'd love to see it.
Okay, this is a really cool video I saw. It's on YouTube, and it's a mouse. Okay, it's a guy set a mouse trap in his garage. As you can tell, this is underneath the car. Yeah, it's a little sad because the mouse is going to die. So if you don't want to see him pass, don't watch. But what I thought was so interesting about it is the fact that it looks like you can see its little spirit rise up out of it. And I thought Halloween would be a great time to share this. And I will share the link if anybody's interested to see this yourself, because I've watched it quite a few times. And I really do believe, my mom said when I was growing up that God and the angels, or his archangels, made all the beings on earth, and that we all have souls. Every living creature has a soul, and that there's different places for the animals to go, and we go to a different place, all in heaven. So when I saw this, I was like, I think it is a spirit. So I'd like to share it, and so you can watch it for yourself. Now I'm going to turn it down because there's music in the background, and I don't want to get in trouble for it. So here we go.
Oh.
Now watch.
Nope.
Was he poisoned?
It's just kind of creepy.
Was he poisoned or was he hurt?
He's been snapped in a trap. He's about to pass, but then watch what happens. Did you see it?
I didn't see anything.
You didn't see right here. I'll rewind it just a little bit.
I saw it.
You see right when it stops, you'll see something come out of it. So I really do believe this mouse's soul went to heaven.
Oh my goodness.
Wait,
I won't show the same thing. I'll just go fast forward to the part, but watch.
Right there. Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, I do believe it. Someone else brought it to my attention. So,
are you playing it?
Yeah, I did play it, but I guess I got too far past it.
Yeah.
Watch right here. You see it?
I saw it.
Something came right from the mouse and went up.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I saw that.
So the thing is I really do believe in spirits, okay? And I do believe that they can be trapped on the earth, and especially if they die a violent death or or something like that, or someone puts a spell on them or something. I don't really believe in zombies, but my dad does. He was a jungle survival instructor in the military, and he said he's seen zombies. And he said they're not zombies that want to eat your brains. He said that he believes in voodoo, and with certain chemicals or poisons that they can put you in a state of a catatonic state, but you're able to walk and do things, but you don't have a mind of your own. You're not doing things for yourself. And basically, he said if they stay in that state long enough, they'll end up dying of dehydration. That's what my dad would tell me. So it was really creepy. My dad used to tell me some really weird stuff, but I don't know if any of you guys believe that. but I do believe that there's something else.
Well, you do have the voodoo practices that they do in Haiti that they're doing here now, all
Mhm.
part of, we know they're doing the political aspects of it, and they're merging the physical and the metaphysical.
Mhm.
They're doing things to incantations to cause chaos, and they're doing this all the time. Remember, Mega Man here, he knows what he's talking about. But that's what they do. It's insane. And again, and my personal nightmare, I went to bed and woke up, it was 2019, and the world went crazy. That's a good horror story.
Well, Bear or Connell, do either one of you have anything interesting you'd like to add?
I should have brought some beer downstairs with me.
My cat just came up here and he's like, where's the mouse? I'll take care of him.
Well, I'm sure
Aw.
things
No,
die
actually-
every day, but I do believe there was one story I tried to find, but I couldn't find it. I looked and looked, but I could not find it again. It was a documentary that I watched years and years ago, and it was some scientist that was trying to prove that people did have a soul, and he wanted to figure out how much it weighed. I think I've talked to you, Ruben, about this before.
The guy was
And-
in the
Dr. Frankenstein?
the early 19th century, and there was a scientist here in the States that was trying
Yeah.
to weigh how much his soul was. So I don't know how he pulled off, but he got some people right before they croaked it, about ready to go to the great beyond.
Mhm.
And he was like, well, you weigh 500, not 500, you weigh 175 pounds now. Okay, you croak. Let's see how much you weigh now. Oh, was it 25 pounds lighter? So weighs
Wasn't that much.
Well,
No,
I'm thinking like,
It was a very minuscule amount, and it's actually been debunked as the oxygen leaving the body. But
right.
that's okay.
Yeah, that could be it.
Science is a fascinating thing where we get to prove stuff as opposed to just have
Yes.
thoughts and beliefs. Like
But
voodoo
it
was
was
studied
interesting.
heavily by the FBI and the American military during the Cold War because they wanted to see if it was something they could use against the Soviets. And it turned out if you don't believe in voodoo, it doesn't work on you. It's amazing how only if you're raised in a culture that believes in that or Santeria or any of these other mystic practices, they will have zero effect on you. The Zwembe that you were talking about with the chemicals and dust is a real thing. And it
Mhm.
makes the person appear dead to all the medical instruments, and therefore they would bury them and then dig them up a day later, and they'd walk around like a brought back from the dead zombie, but they were just drugged out of their minds. It's crazy stuff.
Yeah,
But,
that's what my
you know-
dad said. They would die of dehydration
There's
because
a great
they-
book
they
called
would
Serpent in
eat-
the Rainbow that actually does all of the study of that stuff.
Was there
Really
a
good.
movie
Oh yeah,
that was-
that's
My dad
fascinating.
has that
Fascinating movie.
Sorry,
I
I'm the
actually
debunker. I'm the debunker non-believer guy, just in case
No, that's
anyone's wondering.
That's good. That's why I like having your opinion on here. The thing is, I was told that everyone could be hypnotized, but my mother wanted to quit smoking, so she went to a hypnotist, and supposedly she was able to quit smoking for 3 days after she had seen this guy. But I asked him if he could hypnotize me, and he said he would. So I remember sitting there, and he did all these different things, and it didn't work on me because
Yeah.
I didn't believe in it.
It's a couple different things with being hypnotized. Hey, you really, really want to be hypnotized. If you're like, no, you're not, it's not going to work, then it's not going to
Mhm.
work. You're eating. It's a placebo effect. I'm not saying that it's not used medically for reasons.
Mhm.
It's like, but it's a thing. But no, you really, really subconsciously, mentally have to put yourself in the situation. I want this doctor, stage magician to make me quack like a duck. You really have to eat the cookies or drink the Flavor Aid. Depends on where you're at in this world.
I mean, it boils down to a simple thing of belief. And the power of the human mind is a tremendously powerful thing. We're able to
Mhm.
convince ourselves of things that are just absolutely absurd when we think about them. And the reality of the situation is if you don't believe in that stuff, it's not going to happen. It's not going to work on you. You can sit up all night long wishing to see a ghost, wishing to see a shadow figure and all that fun stuff. But,
Yes,
they
I
ain't
believe
real.
that.
They're just
When
not
I was-
real.
when
This
I
is
was,
not real.
God, I don't know. I was like 10 or 11.
Go ahead. Sorry, what?
I was 10 or 11
By the
years
way-
old, and a family friend
sorry.
decided to get some extra lead in his diet. And a couple days after, we had the funeral, and it was a couple days later, and I walked upstairs to go to the room, and thought. I'm right there with Bear. If you want to see something, you're going to see it. But I swear to God, I saw like the outline of him just because I missed him. It wasn't so much. Do I think there's a spirit? Yes. Do I think that what do you call it? The woo woo?
I call it woo woo. Yes,
Woo woo. I think if you want to
Never heard
believe,
of that.
this is not, I don't mean as an insult to anybody else, but if you really want to believe in that stuff, it's there. It'll be there for you. If you're
Yeah.
a cynic or non-believer, then I believe in bubble gum. You know why? Because I can buy it at the store and chew it and spit it out when I'm done with it.
Well,
Also, the fact that if you like you're trying to see like don't think about black cars, and then all you'll see is black cars.
Black cars. I will never deny anyone's experience. If you tell me you saw a ghost, if you tell me you had the crone sitting on your chest, you saw the shadow hat man, you saw it. I believe you. I will never say that you didn't see what you think you saw, but I have my beliefs. Now, the young lady underneath me has been trying to say something, but Connell's like a tank. So go ahead, lady.
I actually saw full-bodied, full-color, clear apparitions. Two of them. I was at a little, somewhere in Delaware. My grandpa had this dream that he wanted to own a boat and drive it. So he bought himself a boat, and he wanted to take out the family for a ride. But he didn't tell us why he got such a great discount on this boat. And we're going, and then there's put, and the boat goes kapooey. And then my grandfather called his friend to pick us up and then take us to the nearest little port town by the water. And this empty little town with these little historical buildings on the front like deck, that like porch. So here's the dirt gravel, those little wood steps, and then there's the platform. It looks like a little Wild West town, but it's painted. One building is light pink, one building is light blue. Anyway, and on the deck there were two full-bodied apparitions dressed about the time period of the Revolution. And there's a lady sitting, and there's a man standing. And then this building is like an inn of sorts. And I have to use my the restroom, so we go into the inside. I use the restroom, but we're hungry. We didn't have any food, so there was a vending machine and a jar of pretzels. We got a drink from the vending machine and ate the pretzels and left some money. Then we go into the kitchen. Basically, we eat their food.
Oh no!
And we hear footsteps and voices and walking about like so. Here's a large square room, and then you see the floors. Each floor with the support being tiers. It's kind of built like a saloon type building. And in the back there seems to be like a lot of people, but no one's there. Those full-bodied apparitions, no one's there in this place at all. Were they ghosts? Or were they historical reenactors?
Wow.
You ever ask yourself why you never see people who are ghosts dressed up like hippies from the 60s or disco people from the 70s or
it's interesting.
Punks and new wave from the 80s? It's always Revolutionary War, and it's always Civil War, and it's always the dark times of England. It's never something recent.
Wait,
when there have been far more people on the planet than there were in those times, right? And we've had some truly horrific events happen that, if we believe in the idea of the soul staying behind,
reflection of the consciousness of the period of this culture.
Well, I actually have another. I have another full-bodied apparition story. This happened to my friend. She lives in Shadsford, PA. There was a major battle of the Revolution there. And her house, where she lives, was actually commandeered by the British, and it was used to house the British that were wounded and dying from the battle. And there's actually historical blood seeped into the floor, and it will never come out.
Dang.
So part of the floor is laminated, but there's a spot in the kitchen where the windows come at a corner, and there's the most light. That's where they would try to dig out bullets and such. And they left a spot uncovered. So here's a laminate floor, and then here's this dark black blood. And occasionally, my friend would see a ghost of a British soldier wandering around the house. And it would actually, you would hear footsteps, but this thing would glide across the floor and then disappear into the wall. It never caused any trouble, but she would see it from time to time. And then one day, it stopped happening. And she's never seen a ghost of the British soldier since.
Wow.
Wow.
Maybe it found its way wherever it was supposed to go. But
Unreal.
I want to tell one story from when I was 9. The only time I've ever think I saw an alien, and I didn't see what everybody else says they saw. Maybe it was an apparition. I have no idea. I just remember we lived in the Philippines, and it was really hot, so we always left the windows open because we didn't have air conditioning on the housing and on the Air Force Base. And we lived in a big cul-de-sac. And I remember her mother was I was staying at my best friend's house, and we were upstairs in the bedroom, and we were laying in bed, but we only had a sheet over us in our pajamas because it was really hot out. And she had a little wiener dog at the foot of the bed. And I remember the dog started like making noises like whining a little bit, kind of. And then it started barking. It jumped off the bed. It ran out, and it was on the little loft area. I don't know, the top part before you go down the stairs, whatever that you call that little area. And we saw lights. Yeah, stoop. And it was lights outside, like maybe we thought it might be police cars or an ambulance, but it was like all different colors, like, not red, blue, or anything. It was like pink and yellow and green and white, really, really bright. And so we got up and we walked towards the window, but we couldn't, it was so bright, we had to put our hands up. We really couldn't see what it was, but there was no noise. There was no sounds at all. All I could hear was the dog barking. So it was really weird. And then the dog, we could hear the dog's nails clicking across the floor, and then it went down the stairs. So the spark got a little lighter. And then the lights were in the hallway, over by down by the front door, and the door was open. We didn't know the door was open, but when we looked down the stairs later, the door was open. So we just got scared and jumped on the bed, and we were standing in the corner, together, hugging each other. And the dog just kept barking and barking. And then all of a sudden, the dog came running back in the room. Its nails were clicking and jumped up on the bed, and it was whining. And next thing I know, we see the lights in the doorway, but it's like an aura instead of flashing lights. It was just bright, like pulsating light around a tall person that looked like to me, it looked like a regular tall guy. He didn't have a weird head or long fingers, just a normal body, but it was total blackness, like a black hole, basically. No light would come out of it, no reflection. It wasn't a mirror or anything. It was just a black silhouette with all these bright lights. It was real bright to look at them, unless you looked right at the middle where it was black. And we didn't scream or anything. I just remember, I just remember holding my breath and not knowing what was going to happen. The dog barking and barking and barking. And then it turned around and went back down the stairs, because we could tell, because the lights got less and less bright, and the dog went after it barking. And then we ran out and looked, and we could see that the door was open and the lights were gone. And I started screaming, and that's when her brother came running out of his room and told us to shut the hell up.
Oh, geez.
Back in bed. And that was it. And so the next morning I told my mom, and she said that she said, well, it was probably a nightmare, is what my mom said. So I don't know.
So
I
the most
remember that still
unreliable-
like it was yesterday.
So the most unreliable witnessing is eyewitness. They've done great experiments with this, where they've done things like fly a drone at sunset past a beach and then go get statements from people. And people all from saying, I saw a light, to people saying, I saw windows and little men waving at me. And like, it's crazy, right? But because in court, we treat eyewitness testimony as this impeccable thing. I worked many, many years in protection services, and eyewitness testimony is awful. Our minds can play tricks on us. That's number one. People tend to forget how powerful the mind can be to us because its job is to protect us. The human brain's entire function is to keep us from dying. So fight, flight, or freeze. Those are the three options you're going to have when something terrifying happens. So if you believe in ghosts and you wake up in the middle of the night because you hear a weird noise happening, your brain might tell you ghost, so you don't panic. You at least can process and function. I wake up at 3 a.m. and I hear shit going on. I yell at my cats because I know they're being bad, and I know it's not a ghost. I know it's my idiot cats breaking stuff, right? The state between dream and wake is the most dangerous time. And it's interesting how people always have these visions a lot of the time, not always, but a lot of the time, right on the cusp of sleep, when you are more prone to hallucinating than any other time in your waking day or
That
night.
happened to me too.
Yeah,
What happened to you?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I got lost.
It's all right. It could have
Oh,
been.
hello, Lassie. Welcome back.
It could have been her brother. You know, I mean, just saying. I'm just telling you exactly what I remember, and I've always remembered since I was 9.
Yeah.
Never seen anything like that since in my whole life. But I wish I knew for sure what it was, but I know I never will because I'm never going to see those people again. But it was interesting, and my mom didn't act like freaked out or anything. She just said, "Well, it sounds like you probably had a really scary nightmare or whatever," and we just never really talked about it again. But I remember it like it was yesterday. I mean, I close my eyes, I can almost, feel like I'm in that room because to me it was very scary at the time, and it could have been her brother. I don't know. But he wasn't as tall as the person I remember seeing in the shadow, the shadow of the person, because they were almost as tall as the door frame.
Right, but you got a bright light behind the person. Boom.
Yeah.
So they are not going to project anything but blackness because the light around them is causing your pupils to see that. Second of all, you're 9 years old. You're looking up.
Yeah.
So everything seems taller than it could be. So there's so many factors we would have to eliminate before we can jump to aliens. Now, I believe in aliens.
The dog is what
makes the dog heard someone in the yard and was feeling protective. Dogs are dogs.
But that's what I told my mom was the dog wouldn't have barked and stuff like that at the brother unless he couldn't see what it was either. See what I mean?
He's in the same light spectrum we are, so probably getting the same effect. But the point is that I believe in extraterrestrial life. I believe in UFOs and UAPs and all that fun stuff. But extraordinary claims always require extraordinary proof.
Yeah, I do believe that there's got to be life on another planet.
What do you think?
Simply because there's so much of it out there. And if there's life on our planet, because of the sun, the way we rotate around the sun, our atmosphere and everything, then why is it impossible that another planet is out there with life on it? I just really do believe in that.
Well,
go ahead.
Not only that, but when you stop and think about it, we are all made of stardust. We are. Seriously, they know it. It's a scientific fact. We are stardust. And how old are we really? How long have we really been here? And how many lives have we lived before this one? What will happen after we live? There's so little known except what's written in the Bible that, if you choose to believe all that. I mean, I'm not saying I don't. I don't want to get into a religious topic, but there's so little that we know about afterlife. But yet I feel I've lived several lives.
Yeah.
How many lives do you think you lived?
Oh, sorry. It's all right. Connell was waving his hand earlier, so I wanted to let him go real quick. Go ahead, Connell.
Like I said, I'm more or less in the same camp as Bear. I do believe in aliens, and other things are just other things. But on the same token, on the other side, I am fairly superstitious on a few things. If I'm on a road trip somewhere and I see a black dog, I stop for the night. I don't drive any further.
A black dog?
It's an Irish thing. It's an Irish thing.
It's an Irish thing. I was raised Irish. I was raised by an Irishman and a Romanian, fresh from Romania grandma. I mean, I have the evil eye as a tattoo just because I don't know any better. So I am fairly superstitious, but if was that line, or is it's a Shakespeare line, there's more things on heaven and earth than we'll ever know.
Mhm.
More things in heaven and earth than in your philosophy, Horatio.
Right. So
You know, you call yourself superstitious, but to me, it's all just natural. I mean, to
It's all
me,
just what?
everything that other
natural.
people think is
Natural.
superstitious is just a natural thing.
Yeah, like deja vu means abort mission. Yes, yes, it does.
Yeah, but but again, to wrap it all up, it goes far beyond every. Here's a truth: everything that exists exists. Everything that thought you have has existed. They are alternate realities that go far beyond the ultramedic spectrum, far beyond memory. It's all real. Then if that's what you have to,
Exactly.
that's what you have to say. This is happening. It's real. It's how you react to that. See,
Well, I
I'm
think that
basically I'm
we
not superstitious at
create
all.
we
So it's like,
create.
yeah,
I
you
think
create you create it. You create your own universe. So that's
Mhm.
why,
yeah.
like me, my whole tenet now is I'm going to live this life, the best life, every day, full of love and happiness. That's
Mhm.
my tenet. The
But
person
honestly,
right below is that makes it happen, makes all of
what
the
we're
unity
doing
of
right
love
now,
and beauty together. You know.
everything we're doing right now is an experience. We're absorbing information from others that are around us in our lives, and that's what makes us who we are.
Right.
If
It's
there's
the
multiple
information you've
universe,
taken since you were a child is now cultivated to who you are as a person. Because a
Exactly.
person that's never around anyone, that's raised in a sterile environment, won't think and act the same way as someone who's been through different experiences. So that's why I think all of us are so different and unique, is because we take from our environment and become what we are. You know, basically, just like our food makes us
Right.
either heavier or skinnier. Our actions and things that we do, getting the suntan, not getting sun, all that. Go ahead, Bear.
So the simplest question that I can ask all the people on the panel is this: if a black cat crosses your path, is that good luck or bad luck?
Bad.
Not in
Well,
England.
I've
In
had
England, it's
several
good luck
black
to see a
cats.
black cat.
Good.
No,
So you're
no.
dealing with cultural touchstones, and this is what we need to keep in mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that cultural touchstones are very, very different than magic and woo woo and all that kind of stuff. These are things we're raised with. We read these stories as kids. We see these movies. We see they formulate our mythologies in our mind, and then our mind will churn that stuff up whenever it needs to be. I have looked for UFOs all my life, never seen one. I've
I've seen one.
begged to be abducted by aliens, never been abducted. It's I
My
like
friends been abducted.
there
Different
being
ones.
magic in the world, but there must be rational thought to go alongside it.
Mm-hmm.
You
That's
know
all
what
I'm
I
saying.
think? I think that our belief system is our reality. Whatever we believe, that's what's real.
Yeah, basically. But go ahead, Mummy Princess. Go ahead.
Okay, so my friend Sheila, who was a spy for America during the Cold War, she was stationed in Russia,
Mm-hmm.
but she came from Wisconsin, or was it Wyoming? One of the states that start with W. Doesn't matter. Out in the middle of nowhere. Sorry. She saw a very strange shape, like
Mm-hmm.
it came into vision, like from blur to clear, in the backyard, which was a large field. And then there were shapes that came that walked out from steps. And she had this strange experience where suddenly she saw an entire different landscape. Her surroundings were entirely different. She felt all these strange she felt these strange pains and all these strange like emotions, and then this kind of vibration, and then she was back to the backyard where she was standing. where she first saw these aliens. She thinks that she was abducted, something was done for her, to her, then they kind of erased it in her mind and returned her while keeping returning her back to time. She might have shifted through time zones or something, like a time lapse.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah, I wanted to say something about that real quick.
Absolutely
Go ahead.
real.
I do believe in other dimensions. Okay. And I know that might sound crazy to some people, but I watched another documentary, which I absolutely love. And Barry, you might have seen this one. It was, I wish I could remember the name of it. It had some very young scientists that were, in their second year of college or whatever. And a lot of them were going to be engineers and, people that were going to work for like SpaceX and stuff like that. And one of the girls said one day she was jogging, and for why, she doesn't know why it popped in her head, but she almost tripped on her shoestring and stopped to tie her shoe. And at that moment, she said the idea of our gravity in our plane where we are, and that she said she believed that gravity flows freely through the dimensions, but in each dimension, the gravity is either denser or less dense, that type of thing. And she said if you went far enough into the denser, you would be crushed, stuff like that. She was trying to explain how she came up with that hypothesis.
Well,
that was so interesting, and I wish I could remember that
because that does go for the idea that compounds interact at gravity in certain ways. Mm-hmm. All of the elements of the periodic table act at how they act on our atmosphere, one atmosphere, and in vacuum of space. We know those measurements, so that's mm-hmm. the set. Those are part of the recipe and settings of the universe. If you go somewhere else, change it around, it could be different. Who knows? You could have, and that's why we even think that instead of carbon-based life forms, there could be silicon-based life forms somewhere. It's a shift in different parts of the universe. It could be totally different because all the matter that exists is we can't tell, we can't see it. It's either dark matter or dark energy. So and again, it's through what our own little slit of that. What is it going to go like? A hair length width of the electromagnetic spectrum we can see. We can't see infrared, we can't see ultraviolet, we can't see gamma, but all they're out there, all of that. It's proof
theory, right?
Yeah, and it's also
tuned to a certain station. That doesn't mean there aren't other stations being in the room.
Correct.
Until we tune the radio to those stations, we're only
exactly
listening to one station.
Correct.
What Copper says that.
Exactly. Your base reality is one radio station. And you're correct.
We have no
and
proof.
But then this could also when you think about it, ghosts could be. We get a stray signal in the spectrum from somebody, and again, every single person's concept of reality is their own concept. It's all that you know is true. It's you and the universe. That's the truest thing you can do. But your whole reality could be reality. Like if you look at my hat, I see red. You see red, but you actually seeing red. Maybe your eyes in your universe it's blue, but I can't know.
I'm colorblind. The only color I see is red. You're wearing a red hat.
Yeah.
Now, I never knew this. Have a Halloween stream could be so philosophical.
Well, that's college level stoner philosophy, right? How do I know the color blue to you is the color blue to me? And I always have to agree with Dennis Miller on that one, which is check the fucking crayon box. At the end of the day, you can't describe colors to a blind person who's never seen colors. Therefore, that is a fruitless debate to get into because
that's the whole point.
Comes down to perception, right?
But that's the whole point. In the end of the day, everything. My motto now is basically make the best of it. This is the best version of it. You're living your best life. Do it all the time. Most important.
Think about this. You want to take a really deep philosophical trend? Everyone says, if I could travel back in time, I would kill Hitler. I would kill baby Hitler. I'd kill young boy Hitler. I'd kill teenager Hitler. Yeah. Well, what if that shit happened and they had to go back and stop it from happening. And what we live in is the best timeline possible based on the other outcomes. Right?
Exactly.
We don't know.
Exactly.
The problem with this type of thinking and the type of this type of base, there is no way to know. There is no way to answer these questions. There is no way to ever find an answer in this situation. So it's just mental masturbation at that point in time, right?
Well,
There are actually really interesting things in the universe that we can discuss that are absolutely terrifying.
correct.
That are
Wait,
there
Mr.
and
Bear,
measurable.
say that again.
Sorry, what, mental masturbation? Glad I
Did
could
anyone
make-
else? Did anyone else have like an imaginary playmate when you
You
were?
get in trouble. Get in trouble with dad.
No, I never had an imaginary playmate as a child. I was no.
I had 4 sisters, so no, I didn't.
Yeah, me neither. I had 4 sisters. My life was hell. I'm good.
If I told my grandma I had an imaginary friend, she would have an exorcism, and I would get blessed 5 ways from
Oh.
Sunday.
Oh
So
my
no.
god, I can only imagine, eh?
I have a funny imaginary friend story. So when I was little, I heard of the concept of having an imaginary friend. I thought, that's so dumb. Why would you have imaginary friends? Are you too much of a loser to get, real in-person friends? So then I thought, well, what would having an imaginary friend be like? And should I imagine I have an imaginary friend? And not tell anyone so they won't think I'm a loser.
That's a whole lot of faking until you make it.
Yes, but having an imaginary friend was so boring because I had to think of every reply and everything that they would think of.
Mhm.
That it was just no fun.
Yeah, if you do have an imaginary friend, go see a doctor.
Well, I had another
Oh.
set of videos that I wanted to share that I thought were pretty cool.
Is there any animal death in this? Because
No.
I'm not down for watching my animal death.
No, but the thing is, people kill mice every day. But
Doesn't
I just
matter,
thought
even I
it
wanna
was
see
very
it.
intriguing to see it die and then see what I honestly believe is his spirit leaving. And that's why the gentleman put it on YouTube. If you go into YouTube, because I did share that in the link in the chat, he explains why he put out the video and everything. And he didn't even realize it till he went back to watch and he saw it and he was shocked by it because
I'm more shocked by the fact that he's videotaping mouse executions.
well, he said he wasn't. He just wanted to see whether or not the trap had worked because multiple times he had put stuff on it and the mouse was able to eat it off. So he was like, he not understanding what it was that was getting on there. So he wanted to see whether or not it would work. And that's why he put his
So
little
I
camera.
might have a reasonable solution to why you might have saw something. It was a cold room.
Mhm.
Poor mouse just died. It farted. Steam left its ass.
Oh my god.
It was from its head. It wasn't from
Well,
its
then its last
from
gas.
its ass.
came-
Its
Yeah.
last
Well,
gas.
well, see, that could be it. That's what I'm saying. But still, in my mind, to me, that's what it looked like to me. And I thought it was very interesting. And I just wanted to bring it up because it was Halloween. So I thought it would be a good thing. And plus, I have my channel set for adults, no kids. So
Well,
I didn't think I was
actually-
worried about a little kid seeing a
No,
mouse
no.
getting.
Just,
you know.
I don't like seeing animals suffer. It's a thing of mine. I don't like seeing humans suffer. I don't like seeing I don't like
Yeah,
seeing
I don't
stuff.
either. I don't
I
either.
don't like seeing
normally.
animals suffer.
But tonight was
For people,
just a
sure.
little bit different. I thought it
No,
was.
it's all good, Janet. No one's giving you shit. I'm just saying.
No, I know. I just
want
want people to understand why I did it because I normally wouldn't do that because I have chickens and animals and I love animals and I hate to kill snakes even though they kill my chickens, things like that. I try to capture them and take them someplace else.
I love
Tell you what, do you have any
Janet.
videos of Connell getting the shit kicked out of him? Because I'd like to see a couple of those. That'd be awesome.
No, I don't have anything like that, but
I have
I
a
do have something. I think it's cool. So
I have a story about well, it's not as bad as this sounds like killing animals, but they weren't animals; they were flies in the house. So when I was younger, I was really good at killing flies, and I would I'd be slapping them all around with the fly swatter, and I would kill them with my bare hands. We were staying at a little you rent the house on like the resort property land in upstate New York, and it's called a U cook. You could cook in the kitchen, and it was full of flies, and I was like, whoops. all over, killing them.
Hmm.
But and I was really good at it, and I was really proud of myself for being good at it. So I would actually hunt the flies down to kill them. And then, but then when I got older, I got squirmier and I couldn't do it anymore. And that was the end of my fly killing legacy.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
we have a bunch of flies that flew in from the front door, and it would be really useful
I
if
have
I could
cats.
do that now.
I don't
Oh,
like
boy.
killing anything.
So have any of you seen this website before?
I actually thought that I asked my friend just for dating advice. If
Mhm.
I'm on a picnic with a gentleman and there's a fly going by, would it be considered attractive if I asked him if I may kill it? And just take off my glove and go. And she said, "Don't do that. He might think you have anger issues." Or
No. As a male giving you advice on this one, the part where you asked for permission would be the red flag.
Yeah, that's what
Not
I was going to
killing of the
say. The
fly,
same
the
thing.
asking for permission to kill the fly would be the red flag. Just kill the fucking fly. We'll be like, wow.
Yeah, that's
This
what I would
chick
do.
is
I would just
effective and
smack
proactive.
them. I would just smack that fly.
Hell,
Yeah.
okay.
if you could catch it with the chopsticks, it's
Okay, get out of here, Mr. Miyagi. Jesus.
Well, I thought this was interesting. Maybe Bear can explain what's going on, whether someone's playing
this
on
is
him.
the video store thing. Yeah, apparently
Yes.
this has been debunked as it was a
Mischievous
setup.
Spirit posted
Have you seen it?
What's
Yeah.
the famous?
And it has
But
been
go ahead and show
debunked.
it. I've seen people online say that it was a setup and all that, but like again, there's no proof it was. There's no proof it wasn't. Just
Yeah,
people say.
I've never seen it before, but I thought it was pretty interesting. So yeah, I'm gonna play it for everybody. So this is an old time. They don't do. I don't even think they have video stores anymore, do they?
What is this?
Oh God!
It's a video store, and there's a worker, and he's got this cart right here, and he's going to be putting videos back on the shelves where they belong because people had returned them.
Wow.
And I just want you to see it. This is the camera, security camera, supposedly at the video store. So I want you to watch what happens. So here we go. And turn the volume off.
You'll get copyrighted even for a little AI 8-bit track.
Yeah, it's terrible.
That's okay.
See-
They tried to copyright strike me on my own AI music I made. That was hilarious.
He's taking stacks of videos out and he's putting them on the shelves, organizing them.
I'm just waiting for a shelf to fall over.
then you'll see a brown stain.
$20, same as in town.
No, but see, the cart moved.
Oh no.
Yeah, so
Does
just
it
wait.
move more?
You'll see. Just keep watching. He noticed it move, but it didn't make him feel. He didn't react. He just saw it move, and then he's still doing his job, so it didn't bother him.
You probably just figured the wheels unlocked and rolled a little or something.
Did you see the video fall off the shelf?
No, where?
Yeah, right there on the shelf he was just at. Okay, he put it back up again. Now he's going to go back around. Just keep watching that front shelf.
It's the same video, almost like it's been set up somehow.
Yep, just keep watching. He's a nice guy because he hasn't gotten irritated or anything yet. I probably would already be pissed off.
What? Another video fell? Man, that ghost is bored.
Or it could just be the a wind or something.
There's another one that fell off. The bunch are falling.
Okay, so he quit. So now he's leaving.
Rapid heartbeat.
He left because it bothered him. So I've not read anything about this before, so I didn't know, but I thought it was pretty creepy. So if I was in there by myself doing that and things like that happened, it would probably freak me out.
Yeah, I mean, it could be someone fucking with him. It could be the wind. It could be the way he's leaning the tapes up. It's a million different things it could be. But also have to remember one thing. Security cameras are reliably shit. They're potato cam 101. And therefore, things like fishing line aren't going to show up on them, stuff like that, you know?
We are, as a species, naturally scared of the dark. It's in our DNA code. Some people are fine with it. A lot of us aren't. That's why we spend millions of dollars every year on lights. That go to a city, or drive into any major city, and you can't see any stars but the light post. We don't want to be in the dark. Not saying there's anything in the dark. We're scared of the dark. So if you're a maintenance guy at night or restocking shelves at Walmart, hell, Bruce has got a story about waxing the floors at Walmart and getting creeped out by all the fucking toy dolls saying, play with me, as he is moving past. He knows that this movement's sensitive, but still freaks your ass out.
Yeah. Well, plus you got to remember, a person who's blind, it's always dark. So, you know what I mean? So they're not going to react the same way as we would. Or even a person who's deaf. Okay, a deaf person isn't going to react the same way you would react either.
Yeah, I didn't see that comment coming.
Well, the thing is that we react because of our fears of what might be just out of our view. See what I mean?
Right.
A person who's deaf might not hear something, but turn around and see someone or something and startle them. See, we would have probably heard that it's whatever it was coming up behind us. What I'm saying is all of us, our fears are based on what's in our imagination from things that we've been affected by, in our life. Just like I said, it's like a personal.
I can't sleep in a quiet house. I have to have music or something on the background because I'm not paranoid. I'm just paranoid.
I
don't believe in ghosts. I 100% don't believe in ghosts, but I still tuck my feet under the blankets at night just in case.
Well, I like my blankets. I make my bed every morning, and I like them nice and tight when I get in. I like them to feel like they're hugging me when I get in bed. I hate a messy bed, so I always make the bed so it's real tight on my feet and everything.
As my grandpa would say, it's not the ghosts that get you; it's what lives under the bed that will tickle your toesies.
Yeah.
What did you say?
It's my grandpa. It's the creature underneath the bed. He would say it's the creature underneath the bed that would tickle your toesies.
Yeah. Once it tries to get you and eat you. But this video I thought was pretty interesting too. This is another thing that people will say could be from the past. But what was it that you said earlier? Ruben, about impressions from the past that live on into the future. That's what reminded me of what I thought of when I saw this video for the first time this morning when I was watching it. I just thought this one was very interesting. So I want you guys to see it. Watch. We got to watch this stupid ad.
Oh my God, that apple is haunted. It moved by itself.
This is a dumb ad. I tried to get it set up. Now watch.
Now you know. The more you know.
Supposedly a train.
Emerged online, appearing to show the apparition of a ghost train pulling into an empty platform.
No, it's not.
The footage was recorded on March 10th at the Baotou railway station in China. The description reads, when the station's security were watching the surveillance cameras, they noticed this ghost train pull into the station and stop as if it was picking up passengers before leaving. Online viewers were left arguing over what the phenomenon could be. One said, that's a ghost train,
Video,
whereas another suggested, could be a parallel
Yes.
universe overlapping into
videotape
our
is
world.
over and over. It's a ghost
And a
image
third
of that.
even claimed it's an invisible cloak metamaterial military experiment.
No, it's not. It's
It's
a
going to
fucking
Hogwarts.
VHS security camera system where they recycle the tapes over and over again to save money. Because every place I ever worked that had VHS security did this. You had a box of tapes that you just kept using over and over and over, and eventually it just was bleed through from a previous recording of a train pulling into a station that's faded
That's
out.
what I thought.
Exactly.
You know what?
Exactly.
You know what? I'll do the woo woo right now. Which
Okay, go for it, Connell.
it is the Harry Potter China
get
version
out.
of Hogwarts. That's what it is.
Harry Potter, is that you?
So, to tell you what my old Irish grandmother said to
Weasley.
me, she didn't say anything about the boogeyman under the bed. She said, "Stop worrying about the dead people. It's the living ones you got to worry about."
Yes,
That's
definitely.
right.
Yeah, as Jazzy found out when she was a kid, when someone tried to grab her,
There you go.
that real people are the ones that do damage.
No
But yeah,
ghost.
when I saw that, I thought it was intriguing. But the first thing I thought of was I remember my mom using a VHS tape to record her Days of Our Lives, right? Over and over again. And then
That's scary.
she would erase it and then put something else on top of it. And then she put another thing on top of it over and over again. And after a while, I remember she was saying, I keep seeing halos around everyone. So my dad bought her another tape so she can start recording it. But that's what popped in my head when I saw the whole ghost train thing.
There's
So I was like,
there's a bridge. There's this. I heard the story as a kid. Fuck my life. There was a bridge somewhere in Arkansas where there was a group of albino people living there. They didn't know what to do with them, so they all sent them to the farm, I guess, right? And a bunch of people got freaked out because there were a bunch of albinos and went and killed them. And it was like somewhere near this bridge. Well, if you drive past on this bridge at midnight, your car will stop running.
Of course.
I mean,
Yes.
it's like the Lady in White. It's
La Riona. I can't even say it anymore. I used to be able to say it, but now I can't. Look, I'll tell you my favorite ghost story from security job. Working at a place in Vancouver, every night we would have to do this one patrol on Kiefer Place. And Kiefer Place had no internal stairwells. It was all exterior on the balconies. Okay. Every time we'd go up there, our radios would malfunction. We'd hear half conversations. Hello, hello, hello. We'd hear this all the time. It really freaked everybody out to go up there. It was not a fun patrol. Everyone always felt like the hair on their neck was going up. No one liked doing this patrol. Then one night, La Llorona, that's it. Then one night, I get a call from my Patrol 3 freaking out because, and I quote, there's blood coming out of the walls. So I put my ass over there, and sure as shit, there is red liquid coming out of the walls in the lobby. So, of course, we figure out what's going on. Eventually, we call maintenance and all this shit and deal with it. And we find out what happened. Here's what happened. When they built the place, they put copper and zinc pipes next to each other, which you do not do because it creates an electrical current, which was fucking with our radios, causing us to pick up cell phone reception in the area, but only one half of the conversation because we were only picking up the local cell phone, not the one they were connected to. So that was the ghost voices. The static electricity in the air was why the hair on our neck was going up. And the blood coming out of the walls, when the pipes burst, on the second floor mezzanine, there were red clay tiles that got evaporated by the water and turned the water red and thick to look like blood pouring out. After an hour, it was just regular water coming out of the walls. But
I mean,
rational, logical experiences, reasons for these things to happen.
Hearing one half of a conversation, though, depending on the conversation, can be kind of fun.
What?
Only hearing one half of a conversation of somebody's conversation you shouldn't be hearing could be fun.
Not when it's in Chinese. Not when it's in Cantonese or Mandarin. You really don't understand what they're saying, and they just sound angry. So now you're on patrol. You're a superstitious person. You think angry Asian ghosts are trying to talk to you through the radio.
There was a couple of TV shows on TV that I remember that used to do that. They used to debunk
Ghost hunters,
ghosts and stuff, and they would go and they would have all this equipment they'd set up and stuff, and they would prove that it was like drafts, sounds that were coming through were because of like they had the rabbit ears on this one TV, and somehow it would make this clicking sound, things like that. It was very interesting to watch that. And when I got to see Poltergeist for the first time. I remember being so intrigued by the people that they brought in. That's why I love the movie so much, because they use so many things that I thought would really be used if you really did have something weird going on in your house. Those people that came in, remember? And the bad things started happening to them, but the way they talked to each other and the way they interacted and the way they set things up, trying to prove that it was fake. Basically, when he was talking about the car going, it took 6 hours or whatever to go across the floor, and then all of a sudden you see this, just within seconds things are going on. I just thought it was a great movie because of things like that. Because to me, that's what I would expect if I was to go find someone and tell them I had some creepy shit going on in my house. I would want them to bring stuff and try to prove to me, so that I wouldn't be freaked out or want to sell my house and move out, that it wasn't really anything, that if I fixed this pipe or I did that or that with the siding or whatever, that I could stop hearing all the noises. So I thought that whole thing was pretty interesting. That's what Bear says is great.
I got a question for you, Janet. I got a question for the entire panel. Since we're talking about Halloween and spooks and all that, I'm a movie guy. If it's my thing, I'm not the one here. What's your favorite sit-down Halloween movie? Do you have one, Janet?
Well,
I'll tell you mine.
Let Jazzy go first, and then we'll go around the panel.
I'll just go real fast. I mean, I love Halloween. Just Halloween. The original Halloween is my favorite.
Michael Myers classic.
Yep. I love that. I love it where he's chasing her, and I mean, she keeps barely getting away from him, and all the people are killed. And I mean, it's just the whole thing. It's just like,
we can imagine why you would like that part.
So what is your favorite scary movie?
Me, right?
Yeah.
Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow. Hey, yeah, that is a good
The
one.
people actors.
The one with the real people, or the cartoon one?
The real people one.
Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
The Tim Burton one.
Okay, Ruben, what's your favorite scary movie?
Well, I would say probably The Shining.
Ooh.
Deep.
Yeah, I love that one.
Okay, Connell, what's yours?
I'll look. I got two, and I'm gonna catch crap for one of them. Ernest Scared Stupid.
What is it?
Ernest Scared Stupid.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I was of that era where Ernest was still popular. So Ernest Goes Camping, Ernest Goes to Jail, Ernest Saves Christmas. Yeah, and I mean, sit down horror still fucks with me somewhat today. Is The Exorcist.
Exorcist.
Yeah.
That's a pretty scary one. That was one of my mother's most hated movies. My mother hated horror movies. So, Bear, what's your most scary movie that you like?
I have two things I want to share. One, my favorite is a movie called The Changeling, 1980. Peter Medic was the director. It's an amazing film.
Great
It's
movie.
an amazing film.
Nicholas Colt.
But this is my favorite ever quote from a movie about Halloween. You don't really know much about Halloween. You thought no further than the strange custom of having your children wear masks and go out begging for candy. It was the start of the year in our old Celtic lands, and we'd be waiting in our houses of wattles and clay. The bars would be down, you see, between the real and the unreal, and the dead might be looking in to sit by our fires or turf. Halloween, the festival of Samhain. The last great one took place 3,000 years ago when the hills ran red with the blood of animals and children. It was part of our world, our craft. To us, it was a way of controlling our environment. It's not so different now. It's time again. In the end, we don't decide these things, the planets do. They're in alignment, and it's time again. The world's going to change tonight, and I'm glad you'll be able to watch it. Oh, and happy Halloween. The best Halloween movie is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Because it has nothing to do with fucking Mike Myers.
It was supposed to be people misunderstand. It was supposed to be an anthology film.
Yes.
And start a whole line of anthology films. They could still do that. Again, it's so simple. The whole Terrifier series explains that. It's slasher. People like that. Get a Western. People like that. Don't just do it's low budget, fun stuff that people want. But then you had who did you have that guy? Kevin Costner trying to do his whole epic thing. They're going way too far with the whole Yellowstone and all that other stuff.
I don't usually watch
keep it
scary
grounded.
movies.
Keep it grounded.
Well,
Okay.
I have two because I can't pick one or the other. So it's basically a tie for me of my two movies that scared the crap out of me. One is Jaws. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Because my dad did a lot of scuba diving. So when he would do scuba diving for work, for training or whatever, and sometimes I would get to go and one of my other sisters would go and we would snorkel around, right? And I remember swimming around an old sunken barge. I think I was maybe 7 years old, and I was swimming around snorkeling, with my little mask. And I came around the corner of this old barge and I saw the head of a grouper, and the groupers are pretty big. Okay. And it was up and down, straight up and down. And so I swam back a little bit like that, and it floated by, and it was only the head. There was just a giant mouth marks on it. I started screaming and got to the surface and got out of the water, and I couldn't go back in. So that scared me. But then when I saw Jaws, I could not swim over to the sandbar anymore because of the darkness underneath. After seeing some of the things that happened, it petrified me. Now I'm afraid of sharks.
I don't want to tell you how old I was when I saw Jaws. It was criminal. I shouldn't have seen it at the age I saw that. But I also saw Orca when I was pretty young.
Yeah, I saw Orca too.
And I remember, and I still to this day, I'm on the side of the whale in that movie.
Yeah,
I'm 100% on the side of the whale. Like, I know I'm supposed to be scared of the killer whale that's getting all its revenge. No, the people fucked with its mate and killed its children.
Well,
I was.
That's not the same though as Jaws.
Jaws came out. I was 9.
Sorry, what was that?
Well, what about
Jaws
No, I
came out,
mean
the
shark.
Jaws,
It doesn't compare to the whale. Is what I'm saying.
y'all about a month ago.
I was
my
9 years old
good
when
friend-
Jaws came out.
Excuse me.
You were 9 years old when Jaws came out?
I can't get a word in. Okay.
So you're
So,
50.
I wanted to address that. I'm afraid of Jaws as well.
Well, I
But
saw it.
about-
I saw it on a VHS tape. So that's when I saw Jaws, and I wasn't even supposed to see it. It's my mom didn't want me to see it. But my other movie is The Thing.
Wow, The Thing's a great movie.
I saw that, and I thought it was so scary.
don't you
Not
think
just the fact that the monsters were scary, and I showed some of it yesterday, but the dogs, being absorbed by the thing. It was the thing. It was the actual chromosomes or cells or whatever it was.
Right.
Thinking about that getting to come back to where the rest of us were, to me, was the scariest part of the whole movie. Was the fact that this thing wanted to go to sleep, and someone else would dig it up, and then it would infect the whole world. That was what was so bad. But go ahead, Jazzy. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just was
Okay. I wasn't sure if my mic was working or not, to tell you the truth. But about a month ago, a very good friend of mine's daughter had her leg bitten off in the Bahamas by a reef shark, which they normally do not even attack humans. But it was they had been scuba diving, and then they got back on the boat, and she had taken her scuba diving gear off, and she decided to just go in for a swim. And when she dove in, she was attacked by 2 reef sharks, and she lost her leg, and she's actually still fighting for her life. And so it's a very real thing, The fear of sharks is a very real thing. Jaws scared the living hell out of me. It really did. And I refuse to get in the water where there's sharks, even though I grew up in Corpus Christi, Texas, where we had sharks, but we didn't have the kind that majorly attack you. But hey, guys, I do have one other story that I would like to tell if I could. Do I have time?
Yeah. Can you give me just 1 minute? Bear was wanting to say something. So go ahead, Bear.
Yeah, go ahead, Bear.
Bear's good.
Oh, you're sure?
100%.
Okay.
Nothing I have to say after someone's leg getting taken off by a shark and crying for their life. My comedy can wait.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's like, Jesse, you have a good, beautiful smile, and I feel for every single story you have said tonight. Tonight has been a horrific story.
Well, the thing is, it's a real story.
I know, a real horror stories.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah. So then I just empathize with you and your family. It's like,
yeah, sharks are the scariest thing on this planet, I think. But that's why you just don't go where they belong.
Top 3
in the ocean.
Top 3.
Yeah.
But okay, go ahead, Jazzy. You can tell us your other story now.
Well, I think this story kind of goes along with Halloween, and that's one of the reasons I want to tell it. This happened in the 70s, and I was living in Rockwall, Texas, and we had a very good friend named Don Crowder. Don Crowder was a lawyer. He was our lawyer and our close friend, he and his wife. And he was like very political. He was like, in the process of running for governor, and he was just a really cool guy. He'd been a football star at SMU, Southern Methodist University, and he was a very good, very popular person. Anyway, so we lived in Rockwall, Texas, where most of you don't know where that is, but it was about 10 miles away from a little city called Wiley, Texas. And in Wiley, what happened is a weird thing happened one day. This woman was murdered. It was actually happened on Friday the 13th. And she was like brutally.
Wait, Friday the 13th? For real?
She was brutally hacked like 44 or 45 times with an axe. And she was discovered. Her body was discovered. And because it was so close to us, only 10 miles away, of course, all of us were like really, really, interested in this story, and nobody knew who did it. So what happened is that the reason I told you about Don Crowder is that I said he was a close friend of ours. We were with him a few days later, and he said, they've discovered who killed Betty Gore. And so I'm like, who did it? He goes, well, Candace Montgomery. And so the thing is, Betty Gore and Candace Montgomery were very, very close friends. They were best friends. And what happened is that one day they were both like it was a Vacation Bible School, and they were both teachers there at Vacation Bible School. And so Betty had discovered that Candace was having an affair with her husband. So she invited Candace to go have lunch with her that day at her house. So they're having lunch, and so Betty confronted Candace with the fact that she was having an affair with her husband. So what happened next is that, the next thing, Betty turned up dead with 44 axe wounds on her body. And so this is what happened. And we found out like pretty much everything that happened, because what happened is that Candace was, a few days later, they discovered a thumbprint on the refrigerator door, and it was can't match Candace. And so Candace had killed Betty after she confronted her with having an affair with her husband. So she hired our lawyer and friend, Don Crowder, to represent her. So Don would tell us this stuff. So here's what happened. And they actually made a movie of this. It is called Murder in a Small Town, if anybody wants to watch it. But what happened is that Don, who was a brilliant attorney, had Candace plead not guilty. And not guilty based on self-defense. And the self-defense was really that even though she said Betty came at her with the axe first and she took it away from her, but Don said that the self-defense was really that her life would have been ruined. She was pleading for her life. Her life would have been ruined if people knew what she did. So she was actually acquitted, and everybody turned against her, and they turned against Don too. And Don Don committed suicide like 15 years ago. It just like the whole thing destroyed his life. It, of course, Betty's life was destroyed. She was killed with an axe 44 times. I mean, Candace became, she's like, nothing happened to her. She was acquitted. And they did make a movie called, if you want to watch it, it's called Murder in a Small Town. But, I
put that in the chat. I put Murder in a Small Town, so anybody's interested in looking that up.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty gruesome.
And the thing is, too, some of the things like she after she killed Betty, she went and took a shower, put on some of Betty's clothes, and went back to teaching Sunday school at the Vacation Bible School. I mean, it's crazy what you think you know someone, and I mean, you don't really know them. I mean, not really. We really can't ever know how anyone else thinks. But I mean, Don was like so sorry that he'd ever represented this woman. He felt she was a really bad person, and but I mean, he did it anyway, so got her off. I mean, he was a brilliant attorney. He represented us in a couple of lawsuits that we won. But I mean, I just thought that kind of went on with. I thought it kind of like went along with the.
Well, you know what though, that is the real horror of the world that we have to worry about is other people, basically.
Exactly.
And people will die if you go out and you're hunting bear or rhino or things like that. You run the risk of maybe getting killed yourself, and we know that though. See, like when I go out and I find a big snake, in my yard, a rattlesnake or a copperhead or things like that. If I play with it, yeah, I'm gonna more likely get bit by it, and I could die if I don't get to the hospital, get any venom or whatever, depending on where the bite is and if I have an allergic reaction to it or whatever. But we do that to ourselves mostly. Mm-hmm. We put ourselves in situations where we are at risk. We put our children at risk. Go ahead, Bear.
Just to lighten the mood a little bit, we're talking about the thing.
It's Halloween.
Yeah.
Again, never mind. This is
Anyway, you were saying you liked The Thing. There was a guy, I can't remember his name, who wrote a short story from the perspective of The Thing, who basically is just wanting to bring harmony and group mind everybody and can't figure out why these individualistic creatures are trying to kill it, because it just wants to give them the blessing of unity.
Yeah. It exists.
It's a really good read.
Yeah, there's also a book from.
Is it online?
That's from the perspective of Sauron, from a fan fiction thing.
Yeah. But just the whole idea of we always have to look at the monster story from our point of view. But what happens when you flip the story and look at it from the monster's point of view? Is Dracula evil? But the thing is trying to survive.
But the thing is so weird to just bring that up, because I was a kid, I would do that. I would read a book and then I would read it in reverse. I would change things in my mind and rewrite the story.
Really?
Yeah. So, but that goes back to my philosophy of basically then you play the best version of it. Play the best version of your life. Fill your life with love and happiness. That's the whole goal. Because again, as soon as I did that, I'm highest here in my life now, and it's a wonderful life because it's all beautiful now.
Mm-hmm.
I will. I'm an asshole. I'll be the first one to admit.
Yep.
I'm an asshole. I like being an asshole.
But you live your best. You live your life.
I'm living my best life. I'm a member at the cigar lounge in my local area, and every once in a while we'll get like people that are flat earthers, and I just giggle and walk away. And this guy's like, well, I believe that we live in a matrix. I'm like, if that is the case, I'd like to talk to my programmer. I have a few qualms, a few questions I want to ask him. Like, can you reprogram me where I'm not fat and don't have a bum knee and my love life didn't suck? I mean, that'd be nice. Can we start with that?
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. You are the programmer. You are the creator. You're given the skills. You're blessed with them.
Mr. MAGA, you are the reason why I drink tonight. I just want you to know that when we get off, I'm drunk. Fuck this. I haven't had a beer since December. You're
No,
the
but that's the whole
brass-
thing.
You're the brass
Just
ring
be
winner.
happy. Be happy. You know, because again, I lost everything basically in 2019. I lost my wife,
Wow.
and then my mother before that, because I took care of her, and then my father, and then it's just the kids left. But then this whole 4 years of insanity has ripped everybody apart. But I've told them, let's get back together, because again, no matter what it comes, the election coming up, and the next day you live in your life, make it the best version of it. Be happy, get things done. I've been fighting.
Well, listen,
yeah.
If I'm the author of my reality, then I'm a fucking hack writer.
I was about to say there's some lazy writing going on.
Like I've been using ChatGPT way too much for my life. Is all I'm going to say. Okay?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm disconnecting. I want to basically a simpler life and just be happy. And then of course I'll do the technology things I do. So that's the irony. The irony is I'm a technologist, and that's what I get paid. But I want to disconnect now from myself and just be happy. So yeah, just have a good experiences like this.
Earlier, and I say earlier, like it was like 10 minutes ago. You guys were talking. I was starting thinking about. You guys were talking about trying to go into a happier, just Halloween, but less. Holy fuck! Like, holy fuck! I just almost stepped on the landmine with you. Fuck. But here, I might drive in. I might. This is seeing Masters of the fucking Universe. I mean, this was when I was a kid. I was at drive-in.
Right.
And on the other screen, because it's one of those double feature fucking.
Oh,
drive-in,
yeah.
There used to do the double feature, like they show the original movie, like Star Wars.
Yeah.
They show the first one, then the second one, then whatever.
Right.
So, Aliens, 1985, 86.
The second
86.
one.
85.
Yeah.
85 came out.
Yeah.
I have
No, 86. Summer of 86.
86. Yeah, it was 86.
I got He-Man and the Masters of what the fuck was I drinking? And on the other side, what's that? Don't look at the screen, honey. But what's that? What's that thing doing? Oh my god! Welcome to Nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
Colin, can you say fuck more times in one story, please?
I can try.
Well, all I can say is I had a lot of bad things happen to me in my life, and it got better because I started coming to YouTube, and I met people in chats because I used to go to like Clobby's Saturday night thing, and he would talk about Star Trek and stuff. I loved it, and I met so many wonderful people in the chat, and then after that. I started being asked, why don't you do something? Why don't you do something? So I was already making shorts and sending them to friends and stuff like that. And they talked me into going and putting some stuff on TikTok. But then YouTube started doing shorts. So I started, what the hell? I'm going to put my shorts on here too. And then next thing I know, I get a message from Bruce. His fiance at the time had seen one of my TikToks and thought it was funny. So she asked Bruce to have me come on his show as a guest. And now look,
right there you go.
I've met all of you guys. My life is getting better. I'm finding out who I am and what I enjoy in my life.
Bruce's fault is what you're telling us.
That's why
it's all his fault. Well, it's his wife's, Yvonne's fault. But the thing is that I got to be on the show, and that's how first time I got to meet Ruben. And we were talking backstage, and we started talking about all kinds of things, and it was just great. Right. And that's how I became friends with Ruben. So I just think it's
I love it dearly. You gave me jerky, therefore you're stuck with me.
Well, I'm gonna make jerky again for everybody for Christmas this year too.
With that, you made But
sadly, I'm in Canada. You can't send me jerky. Oh well.
Oh,
for real? There was a few times in the early days of you gaming with us on Bruce Channel. I really thought you were going to get us banned off of YouTube and have straight over to Pornhub. Oh my god!
I had no idea the words you guys were saying what they meant. You know what I mean?
Well,
you just don't.
You guys
Urban Dictionary.
I
And
have
I
no
was like,
part
what
of
does
this.
that mean? Yeah, not you. I'm talking about
Not a single
Connell.
ounce of this is mine.
Every time we played, they would say some word or something. Don't look it up. And I'm like, why not? What does it mean?
Like, they do this to Raven. Do you ever see? You know Raven, Janet? Raven McNinn. I do the conspiracy show thing every other Monday with her. And
No, I
Shadow
haven't seen her
Fun.
yet, but I'm gonna
They
have
do this to Raven. They'll be like Bukkake, and she's like, "What's Bukkake?" And they'll be like, "Don't
Yeah,
look it
that's
up,
that.
Raven." And then Raven
That's-
goes and looks it up. And this
Well,
poor
I've
middle-aged
learned.
I don't
woman
know what that is
tried
either.
to deprive-
Oh,
anymore.
I love Mrs. Mommy. Wow, that is an interesting wordage. Do not look up that term. Just no.
Did you just call Janet Mrs. Mommy?
No. Mummy, the Mummy Princess.
The mummy.
Mama, are you
no.
working out some shit tonight here, Mrs. Mommy? Mrs. Mommy.
Yeah, I think that is one of Connell's fantasies, though.
I think Connell's horror
got a
story
mommy
is
in
a
it.
little deeper than we were hoping for.
No, I'm more into elf chicks, but that's just me.
Oh, he likes married women, I think too.
He likes married women.
Who does?
Connell. He's got a thing for married girls.
I have a thing for
Well,
Hey.
if you want to get your
Oh,
life
one
better, you
married
better
girl.
have a thing for girls who are single and available, or else you'll never
no.
get married and
It's
get a
far
life.
more complicated if they're single. Then you actually have to talk to them.
Oh my goodness. Well, we dove off the deep end now.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
There's the women's horror story. Connell stalking them.
I don't stalk. I'm fat and I'm lazy.
Oh, so you just kind of wait them out. Is
He
that
he just has coffee with him.
it? Aw, that's sweet.
I have coffee. Yeah, that's the word I would wish to use. And technically, it's two. My first wife was married before I met her. Was married when I met her, but she was going through a divorce. Well, she ended up going through. It doesn't matter.
Whatever you say, Mrs. Mommy.
I didn't say
Yeah,
anything.
Not you, not you, not
No, no.
you, not you, not
Your
you.
mummy princess.
He said, "Mommy."
Mrs. Mommy is
It's somebody
Connell's dream girl.
Oh no, I do not have a flat Earth fetish.
Oh wait, yeah, there you go. I forgot about this one. His flat Earth girl.
Oh, did you have a flat earther there, Connell?
Why would you want a flat girl?
No, never mind. No, flat Earth, flat Earth, flat Earth, flat Earth, flat Earth.
Muy caliente.
Was that too much for YouTube?
Yeah, Connell, are you going to answer her? Why you wanted
Yeah,
a flat
Connell.
girl?
I want a flat girl, Connell.
Sorry. Okay. I hooked up with this girl. We started talking. Everything was going great. I thought she was intelligent. I was proven wrong, but everything was going great. We'd go get coffee. Yes, because that's the wordage I'm going to use tonight.
Yeah.
We could have coffee. Then I thought things might be getting serious because I was thinking about introducing her to my daughter. Having a normal relationship at least once in my life.
That fast?
But we're having dinner at this restaurant. She's like, well, ... I'm ... religious. Okay, whatever. ... Oh, and I believe the Earth was flat. Fuck. Okay. Well, it was nice talking to you. Where's the delete and hide button on my fucking phone? I paid for dinner and I haven't talked to her since. Although Bruce thinks I should.
This is how Connell starts every conversation with a woman now. What shape is the world?
It really should be.
Some women, enough to have a reputation, are known for being a little bit stupid.
See, okay.
But that level is, she has to be very special.
Okay.
Mrs. Mommy, can you take control of the stream again, please, Mrs. Mommy?
Me?
No.
Mrs. Mommy, this is her name now.
Yeah,
Mrs.
me.
Mommy.
No, I was talking to.
No, Connell, it's too late.
The princess
cannot be
over-
taken out after it's gone in, Connell. It's firmly lodged now.
Yes, it's sad.
Quit drinking for this.
Sad. Well, see, that's why you're supposed to meet someone, have a conversation out at lunch or dinner or something like that before you dive in. Okay, so you get to know the person. So when you dive in later, you already know they're not a flat earther.
Or at the library where you can stop at the globe and go, aren't globes wonderful? Just spin it in front of her and wait to see what her reaction is.
I love, I mean, I am my own horror movie. I love women that are fucking crazy. I won't date stupid women, but fucking crazy, just where it's
that's not unique to you, Connell. That's just called being a man.
So it's a turn on. It's a turn on a man to think that you're the girl you're about to go sleep with, or boink, or whatever you want to call it.
Coffee
has a knife under her pillow.
Whoa, we said crazy, not homicidal.
Okay, well, what's the difference?
There's a fine line between crazy and homicidal.
What do you guys mean is crazy? I mean, what do you
I believe Mark Twain said it best when he said the human race is descended from apes, except redheads, they're descended from cats. And if you understand that term, you understand what we're talking about.
I don't understand what that means.
Okay,
that gives a whole
I'm a redhead. I'm a ginger. I know it doesn't show anymore.
I have reddish brown hair. Really, this is just
I'm a legit ginger. And one of the things that we as men are raised to believe is that ginger or redheaded women are
feisty,
but spicy as fuck, right? Like muy caliente. So we chase that because it's this myth in our mind that crazy sex must be the best sex. It's not. I've been there. I've been on the front lines, and all is quiet on the Western Front now because trust me, crazy sex is not the best sex.
So I have a question for you guys. Okay.
Yeah.
So what is a deal killer for you with a woman?
Not married. Sorry.
Okay. Well, what is for you two? For you?
Who? Me?
Bear. Yeah, Bear and.
I'll let Mr. Magga go first. I've talked.
Yeah, go ahead, Ruben. What would your deal killer be for you? She's asking. Jazzy's asking.
Are you talking to me?
No,
I'm asking him the question you asked it.
It's all about authenticity. If the mission in life is to have fun and to live every day the best version of yourself and learn from every mistake you made that day and move on forward, progressing always, be genuine, fall down, make mistakes, paint outside the lines, just take a chance on everything, be happy,
I could tell you my deal killer. If there is no chemistry, that is a deal killer. There has to be chemistry.
Well, but that's normal. We're talking about like what the
no, it isn't really.
Like,
it isn't really normal.
Trait of personality
you don't have chemistry with every single person. I've been on Match. My husband died 3 years ago, and I was encouraged to get on Match.com, and I had a few dates, and I mean, I never felt chemistry with anyone. I just did not feel.
There's a reason for that, Jess.
Even guys that would tell me they were like crazy in love with me, I mean, we just met for lunch or drinks or whatever, and all of a sudden they're just like in love with me, and it's like, you know what? I don't feel the same way, and they get mad at you. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you guys, you think we women are crazy, but I'm telling you, the guys are just as crazy. So,
well, Jazzy, Bear he wants to tell you something.
Well, I'm going to actually share this with all the ladies listening and all the gentlemen listening and everybody who wants to listen to the sound of my voice right now, which is not a lot, but there you go. Pair bonding is a real thing, and it exists amongst humans. And the more lovers we have, the less we are able to pair bond. But if you have officially pair bonded with someone, and then that ends for whatever reason, tragedy, misery, what have you, it is far less likely you will ever be able to pair bond again. You will never feel that same chemistry, but you will be seeking it. You'll be hoping for it. You'll be looking for it. Even if you're not consciously aware of it, subconsciously, you'll be wanting that feeling again. You can never have that feeling again because it was a pair bond. It was two beings making a connection. The Celts refer to it as Anam Cora, which is the idea of the soulmate. This is where soulmate ideas come from. It's from Celtic mythology. The idea of this person that is your partner in life, your partner in the universe, your partner through all existence. They don't always have to be sexual, by the way. You can have platonic Anam Cora. But the point is you have to pair bond. Now, getting back to the deal breaker thing for me, narcissist. If you're a fucking self-absorbed, narcissistic human being that likes to take a lot of pictures of yourself and never admits your faults and always thinks you're right and everything's about you, and you like to turn shit on other people to make it their problem and not you, fuck off, get out. I'm not interested in you. I can handle crazy, I can handle boring, I can handle stupid, I can handle anything else. Narcissist, fuck off up the model village. I want nothing to do with you. You know, that's just the way it goes.
You know what? I understand what you're saying, but I think almost everyone has a bit of narcissist in them. Okay, so
well, of course, but there's no having a bit of narcissism and being a narcissist.
Wait, hold on. Okay, what you're saying about bonding with someone when you've lost someone that you truly love.
Yeah.
You know, it is difficult. It can, you know, prevent you from finding someone like quickly. You know, you're not gonna. You may want to find someone to take their place, and not that you ever can, but when they're gone, they're gone. I mean, they're not coming back. And I went through the grieving process. I went through the mourning process, but you know, I finally did actually meet someone that I absolutely thought and think is a wonderful person. So it can happen. I mean, you know, and no one is totally perfect. I mean, if you're looking for the perfect person, but I mean, if you're not perfect, I'm not perfect. You know, I don't know anyone that's perfect. Do you? And all these labels, you know, everybody, now the big deal is narcissists. Okay. So everybody, like I said, I think everyone
hang on, I
has
have
a
to
bit of
answer this.
narcissism in them.
Hey, Jazzy.
Jazzy, there's a little bit of a difference between having a bit of narcissism in your personality and being a narcissist. Just because you put out a campfire doesn't make you a forest ranger.
Anyone that wants to call me a narcissist can do so. It's like,
I'm not calling you a narcissist.
He's not saying you're a narcissist. He's saying that everyone does have that trait, but that doesn't mean they're a full-blown narcissist.
Absolutely. And I totally 100% agree, Janet. Okay. We all have traits of all different kinds. You know, I mean, people can label us at, you know, anything they want to. You know, if you offend somebody, they're going to call you something, you know. I mean, I'm just me. I can't be anybody but me.
One thing that I've said many times is, and I try to do it myself, is I hear about all these people that use these apps to get dates. And the only thing is that an app is not a good way to find a person that you want to spend the rest of your life with, if that's what you're looking for. Okay. Because you start in this middle of a relationship instead of at the beginning. Because if you meet somebody and then you hook up, which I mean, you know, have sex that night, you've already bypassed all the stuff it took to get you where you would normally be before you got in bed with someone to share that.
Welcome to the true horror of Halloween. Dating past 40.
I hate those apps. I hate those apps.
Never in my life, not one time in my life have I ever looked for someone just to go to bed with or just to hook up with. Okay. So,
well, yeah, you wouldn't, but thousands and thousands of other people do use it. I had one friend that used an app. Okay. She got a date with this guy because she'd swipe left, swipe right, or whatever that shit is. And she met this guy. They went to dinner and then they hooked up. Okay. Whatever afterward. And a couple months later, when I saw her, she said that they were going to start dating, you know, one-on-one. And I was like, well, that's great. So they start to date. And she's been going out with him, and she talks about they slept together, you know, constantly having sex with this guy or whatever, and rubbing it in, whatever. But she tells me his birthday's coming up. I want to get him a gift. And I said, well, get him some nice silk pajamas. And she went, oh, that's too personal. So I don't understand where this comes from. How do you get to be too personal to buy pajamas, but you can have sex with them? See, that's where I think everything's screwed up. It's upside down.
You know, that's some of a catch-22 for me, because I've had relationships that have absolutely gone straight to hell, and you know, I met them the old-fashioned way at, you know, at college or whatever, where we're not sleeping with each other for at least a good 2 months beforehand. Then I've had relationships that lasted months where I'm at a bar. Hey, do you want to go home with me? I'm like, sure, why not? And we kicked it off, and we had a great relationship for a while. So I don't think it's a yes and. I think it's always a scenario based situation.
But you didn't meet on an app. If you were at a
no,
bar,
I do all my dirty work in person. Fuck.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. It's the eye contact, smile. You see if there's chemistry because you're meeting each other. You don't swipe left and right and say, "Oh, this person's this tall, blah blah blah. I'm gonna go out with them." That to me, that just takes all the chemicals out. Walking down the street or bumping into someone at the grocery store, and you turn and look, and they smile at you, and you go, "Oh, hi," and you start talking to them. That's what you're supposed to have. That's how you should start a relationship. Go ahead, Bear.
You guys,
wait a minute. Bear wants to say something real quick. Go ahead, Bear.
I just want to give the floor to Mummy Princess because she's been super quiet for like 10 minutes now.
Okay. All right. Okay. Do you have something you want to say, Mummy? Princess? What?
But can I say something?
I didn't actually hear what we were talking about so well because I had my volume down. Because
we were talking about different things about relationships and stuff.
I would like to say something about
Consider
sex.
yourself lucky that the volume was down.
Definitely ask the right questions. Ask the right questions right off. And let the person you're dating know if you're serious or if you're not from the very beginning.
Yep. Be yourself.
Who did that?
I don't see anything wrong with having sex. I mean, sex is not some absolute sacred thing, really. I mean, sex is
no, it is.
No, we're not talking about sex.
No, sorry, I'll be the prude on this
one. To me, though, to me, it's reserved for someone that I find, that I have feelings for and that I feel chemistry with. So, but I have no negative feelings about it. I think people talk about it. She's like, "Oh, you can't have sex with this person unless this, that, or the other." I don't believe that. I don't. I think sex is a wonderful thing, and
so do I.
There's such a double standard, still, which really bothers me. The double standard between men and women. Like, it's okay for guys, but it's not okay for women.
No, it's not.
That's not.
It's not okay for guys either. Hold on.
Wait.
No,
let me
hold
finish.
on. You're accusing men of something that you're blanketing accusing. As a man, I'm telling you that's not true.
You're not going to let me finish, right? Okay.
No, I'm just going to correct you because you're accusing men of something that's not true for all men.
It may be a cultural thing, Jazzy. Because in the culture I come from, there's a very strong double standard as well.
Well, the thing is, it's just like I said, if you bump into someone and you have or you are introduced to someone and you have a contact and you have a spark at that moment, take advantage of it. Let them know.
If I'm with somebody and I like them enough, to have sex with them, I will do it, and I won't feel any regret.
Well, that's good. I think you should.
Just as good for a woman as it is for a man.
You deserve that, and so does anyone. Any adult that meets another person that decides that they're ready for the next step, you should have the right to do that.
Yeah, but I just don't. I don't think we need to beat ourselves up and make it so difficult. We make relationships so difficult. Okay, relationships shouldn't be so fucking difficult. Pardon my French. Okay, I hope that doesn't, ruin a YouTube thing. But
after Connell,
only after the first 30 seconds of the
honestly, sex is a natural thing. It's natural. God intended for us to have sex.
That's what I was saying. It should be natural.
You're going to bring God into it. There's a little holy book that says get married first. So apparently God had rules on that one.
You know what? That depends on what your belief system is. Okay. I believe in God, and the God that I believe in doesn't say you have to get married first. So.
Well, then that's not the God of the Christian people, and that's fine. That's your God, and that's.
You may not agree with me, but that's all. I totally believe you should believe the way you believe, okay, and let me believe the way I believe.
No, that's see,
No,
now that-
he
I'm
is.
good. So now-
Yeah.
I have a
Hang on,
story
hang on.
about making jack-o'-lanterns.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
going to get back onto
Let,
the
let
horror. and
Bear
Halloween.
let Bear comment, and then you can tell us about your jack.
Well, no. I want to hear the story about jack-o'-lanterns. and
Oh,
Halloween,
okay.
please.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So when my father was little, he would bring back a pumpkin from the pumpkin patch, and he would either eat it or his mother would cut out the pumpkin, scoop out the guts, and then my father carved a little face. He tried to make the two little triangle eyes, and they'll put a candle inside, and it would sit in front of the front door until it rotted.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. That's how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to leave them out until
that's
they rot.
the fun way to make
I mean, is there anybody in this room that has ever had sex when they were not married? So
Why are you asking? That's very personal, Jazzy.
What you really ask? You want everybody? Okay, anybody who wants to answer,
Miss Jazzy. That's not that.
anyone who wants to answer her question, go ahead.
I mean, you know, I don't think it's right or fair to tell anybody who they should have sex with or who they should have a relationship with. You know, if you are turned on by that person and if you feel a connection, if the two of you feel a connection, then go for it. Okay. Don't just go by what somebody says and say, "Oh, don't rush into it," or "Don't this or that or other." Do what you feel comes naturally. That's what I believe.
I agree. Cool.
So
that
what I
might
do
be
with
what
my
you believe, Jazzy, but that's really not very commendable.
So what I do with my pumpkins
Check your
is
phone.
I will pour
Check
some
your phone.
Everclear in my pumpkins
Check your phone.
the night after Halloween, and I'll make little war kittens. When I will line them all up like on a grill, something I don't have to worry about catching the rest of the neighborhood on fire. And I'll pour some alcohol. Everclear works the best. Just soak it in Everclear. Then I'll light them up, and with the jack-o'-lanterns, it looks like the head, the pumpkin from Sleepy Hollow, and I get a cheap laugh. The neighbor's like, "Oh my god!" And I don't have to worry about the pumpkin.
Janet, we have to leave. We have to leave. It's time for us to. It's already past her bedtime. She go sleep.
Okay. Well, you guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you for hanging out with us for a little bit.
Yes.
It's been so fun, Janet. It's lovely to meet
remember
you.
and Mummy Princess, lovely meeting you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Night.
Good
Good night,
night.
guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. And thank you.
You're welcome. What I was going to say is I cut up some pumpkins the other day and I put them out in the front yard and fed them to my chickens. I didn't even light them up.
We also know what you do to your angry chickens.
Well, that was only one time. And I'm never going to live it down either, just like you are with your flat
the way you said it, I have an angry cock that I beat with a stick. No,
I know.
I'm never letting that go.
I did say that. You're right. I have said a few things like that during our game, and maybe someone might think it was something I shouldn't have said.
Oh.
But I didn't mean it the way that you took it. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
but I just want to say thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. It was a lot of fun. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I had a good time.
Hey, Janet, thank you. And thanks to everyone. I enjoyed hearing everyone's stories and opinions.
Well, thank you, Jazzy. I'm glad that you wanted to hang out and find out what this was all about. And this got to be your first time ever doing this live stream.
Well, the next time I'll be live, okay? Because this time I couldn't figure it out. So,
well, you did okay. You did good. And thank you, Bear. I really appreciate you hanging out with me tonight.
Always a pleasure. Thank
fun. You. And Connell, always it's fun to hang out with you. We've been hanging out with each other off and on for a couple of years now, right?
But going on 2 years.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully it'll be two more.
Can you stop?
Oh, you're stuck with me. You made me jerky.
I know. I can't help it. I didn't mean to. I didn't do it on purpose. I wasn't trying to be mean.
You know what they say? A way to a man's heart's through his stomach.
I know. I'm going to make
angry cock with a stick. That's the other
I
thing.
wish I could make you some, Bear. I think that's terrible that I can't make you my homemade
you can't
turkey.
send food across the border. Sorry.
They won't mail it to you. People order food all the time.
Really, if you want to mail it and take the chance, you can feel free to mail me your witchy brew. But
well, hey, ask Connell. He's had some of my real homemade jerky.
It's really good.
He said it was good.
Is it made from angry cocks?
No, it's made from beef. Beef jerky, teriyaki beef. It's pretty good. But I just want to say thank you to everybody in the chat. Hope you had a good time. I'm sorry if I offended anyone with my snap trap, but I thought it was interesting to show everybody that.
Real fast, all the Z-Nuts watching from my channel, hop on over the links in the description. Give Janet a sub, please. She deserves it.
Oh, thank you so much. And I think everybody that follows me is already following you. So
I don't know. It's possible, but you have a whole political crowd I don't have.
Yeah, I do. I really like politics. I like to argue with other people about politics, especially if I think they're, child-likers and stuff. I get in trouble for it. I'm not going to say that word, but
make wood chippers great again, 2024.
Yeah. Oh, is that a kitty?
What do you want, Beans?
Make wood chippers great again.
So
look, Janet, it's this asshole. He just wants.
I know. He's so beautiful. I love kitties. I love kitties. He's a beautiful cat. Beautiful, beautiful kitty. But you've got two of them too, right?
And they're brothers, and they make my life a living hell.
Well, it's
looks like we lost Jazzy.
Yeah, she had to go. But I just want to say thanks, guys. It was a lot of fun. I had fun, and hope to do this again sometime.
Yeah, I had a good time. Anytime, Janet. If I'm available, you know.
Well, I want to say thank you to everyone in the chat. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to close out with my another political ad. I close out with it until after election, then I'll go back to my old one. But I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend and had a happy Halloween. Bye.
Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States! Exclamation point at real Donald Trump. Well, at real Donald Trump, at least I will go down as a president.
I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Never got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally.
A new world order. These allegations are false. Weapons of mass destruction. The USA Patriot Act. The blueprint for large corporations.
We once were, we are no longer a Christian nation.
Donald Trump confirmed that he is considering a run in 2016.
Do it.
I am officially running for President of the United States.
He will never be President of the United States.
Donald Trump will never be elected President of the United States.
And people are watching these results come in.
We are going to make this decision now. Donald Trump will be the 45th President of the United States.
Does it ever seem to you that President Trump has done more than any president in modern history?
In the 10 years I've been involved in politics, I've never seen an administration hit the ground running like this.
I could spend the rest of the hour laying out the accomplishments under the Trump presidency, despite everything thrown at him.
Market just had its 12th straight record close.
Taking action to save as many kids as they can.
We were energy independent under the Trump administration.
More Americans reported being employed than ever.
Helping those who have served our country in the military to get access to mental health care.
The Great American Outdoors Act is the largest single piece of legislation to support our national parks and public lands.
Created more than 7 million good-paying jobs.
Websites can be held liable in court for having sex trafficking content.
The Abraham Accords, which for any other president would have been multiple peace prizes.
America did not enter into a foreign war.
The employment rate in the U.S. fell to 3.5%.
The First Step Act eases federal sentencing for nonviolent offenders.
Increased funding for historic historically black colleges and universities.
Allows terminally ill patients easier access to experimental drugs.
Kept the inflation rate low.
Honored with the Bipartisan Justice Award.
Had a massive MS-13 gang problem.
3.9% is the unemployment rate.
Requiring airports to provide lactation rooms for breastfeeding mothers.
Middle class family income increased nearly $6,000.
A dramatic escalation in his crackdown on illegal immigration.
An advocate for educational choice.
Tariffs on Mexico and Canada.
An act preventing animal cruelty and torture.
Taking out Baghdadi, the head of ISIS, Soleimani, the Iranian general.
Save Our Seas Act commitment to environmental issues.
We're saying Merry Christmas again.
Community development in low-income urban and rural communities.
Help us to remember the importance of fighting off tyranny.
Pulling out of UNESCO, the World Health Organization, the Paris Climate Accords, reassessing NATO and the United Nations.
Stood up for Christianity and the Constitution more than any president in American modern history.
We are stopping the attacks on Judeo-Christian values. Do you miss me yet?